Okay, so how to read this chart. So I put up there's one of your links, the chi-squared distribution chart. Okay, so that's where I am. We're going to read this. All right, so first of all, before we get to looking at the chart, this is a bell curve. And the middle section is colored in blue. Okay, and I have a little arrow that says that's 95%. Well, if that's 95%, that means 5% of it I did not color in blue. And if I made it all nice and symmetric, as opposed to, I can't draw symmetric, but if it was really symmetric, okay, it's the middle 95% that's in blue. That's where you are most of the time. You got to be 95% of the time you're going to be in that blue section. That means 5% of the time you're not in the blue section. Okay, well, if I divide it up nice and evenly, 2.5% of that 5% is over here, and the other 2.5% of that 5% is over there. So that's where the numbers are coming from. Okay, if someone says something to you about 95%, the picture in your head is supposed to be, oh, it's that middle chunk of the bell curve. All right, so starting over here, once I get to there, that's like 2.5% of what's happened so far. If I start over here and I go all the way over to here, that's 97.5% of what's happened so far, because this 2.5% plus that 95%. So on these problems and reading this chart, if someone says 95%, the numbers you're supposed to be thinking of are 2.5% and 97.5%. And pretty much I keep giving you 95% on all of these like chi-squared problems because it's the industry standard. So really all the time that's what you get. All right. Now this is the chart. Okay, and first of all, the chart up at the top, it says degrees of freedom right there. And if you go read down at the bottom, it says degrees of freedom is n-1 for confidence intervals. Okay, so that's a hint as to what I'm supposed to do. This doesn't say n. If it meant n, they would have just typed n. It means whatever n is. So if I talk to 25 people, I should be looking at degrees of freedom 24. If I talk to 26 people, I should be looking at degrees of freedom 25. Okay, because it says right here on the chart that for confidence intervals, you got to subtract 1 from whatever n is. All right, now the other thing you need to do to read the chart is, I said it's going to be like the 95%. 95% means it corresponds to 0.975 and 0.025. 95% never means go down the 0.05 or the 0.95. You don't go down those. You've got to go down these two columns, 0.975 and 0.025, because those are the ones that match up with the 95%. So if it said n is 25 and 95%, then you go to 24 and you go down those two columns, 12.401 and 39.364. So that's how you read that. You got to subtract 1 to go down this column, and then you got to go down these center two columns. Okay, so that's how to read the chart. We need that for section 6.4.